Guys, it's Benny. What is the most provably false, pernicious lie that has been told to you over the past couple of years by the corporate media? There's almost too many to count. But may I humbly submit to you, the single most insulting lie told was that there is no such thing as mass voter fraud. That American elections are secure when they're anything but. In fact, in every single state, the data shows that there are ongoing criminal cases of election fraud being litigated right now, no matter how big or how small the state is. Even in Montana, that has like 500,000 people living in it, there are 2 cases of voter fraud ongoing. Some states have hundreds of cases of voter fraud, like Minnesota or North Carolina. Voter fraud is a massive issue in America, and people are going to prison for a very long time. Here's often how the fraud works. In Patterson City, New Jersey, the president of the city council and his wife went door to door, stealing ballots, ripping the voting cards out of those ballots, voting for themselves, forging signatures, and then sending in those votes to be counted, and they won. They're now under federal criminal conviction. Also, Atlantic City councilman admits to submitting false voter registrations, ballot fraud. There's a massive case out of Connecticut where the entire city council colluded in order to elect a new mayor through fraudulent ballot harvesting and fraudulent voting. Some of them facing 92 separate criminal charges to take possession of multiple voters' absentee ballots. They may spend the rest of their lives in prison. This was a massive conspiracy. It's often caught on camera, like here in Lawrence, Massachusetts.
This is the Ring camera video appearing to show a woman taking out 3 ballots from a Lawrence man's mailbox.
How offensive and violative is this practice? Boy, you hear a lot about the horrors of black women in this country, yet nobody marched for this black woman who had her vote stolen and forged and taken from her.
The report filed was from this Lawrence woman who's still waiting for elections officials to decide whether her in-person vote will count or the mail-in, which she says has her signature forged.
How come it's not going to be counted if I'm voting right in front of you and I'm telling you that that vote that you have there is not mine?
So hold on. I mean, like that lady, who knows who she's voting for? She gonna vote for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris? I don't care. I want her to have her real vote count. And the fact that it doesn't is an offense to all of us. That's the way it's supposed to work. You literally have footage of her vote getting stolen, and then it gets submitted with a forged signature. And the county's like, too bad. The voter fraud worked. Well, ladies and gentlemen, no more. People are putting a stop to this. Many thank President Trump for bringing the spotlight on all of this. 3 politicians are accused of faking mail-in ballots in a Philly suburb. Non-citizens are voting in the state of Michigan. It's a freaking nightmare and a cluster. That's why we're really happy that President Trump at the White House just put an end to it. Of course, there needs to be federal law passed by Congress to stop this abomination. But Donald Trump signed an executive order moments ago at the White House that said citizenship proof for federal voting. This is, of course, Donald Trump can only affect federal elections, but that would be House, Senate, of course, the presidency. Funds are tied to integrity and compliance, paper ballots, Attorney General to track election fraud, crackdowns on late ballots, and axes Biden's voter turnout executive order. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is Donald Trump remarking after the successful signature of something that we've cared greatly about on this program, ending voter fraud.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time. This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election. This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes, particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on and on for a while, sir, but the compliance with national election day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Okay, you all understand that? Yes. Election fraud, you've heard the term. We'll end it, hopefully. At least this will go a long way toward ending it. There are other steps that we will be taking in the coming weeks, and we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections. Perhaps some people think I shouldn't be complaining because we won in a landslide, but we got to straighten out our election. This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections and the bad elections, and we're going to straighten it out one way or the other. And it's an honor to sign this one. To sign all of them, but to sign this one is a great honor.
Is one of the happiest days of my life to watch that actually happen. The furthest reaching executive order ever taken place to cut down on voter fraud. Illegal immigrants will be off voter rolls, ensure that DHS has fully usable data, citizenship question on federal voting forms, cut federal funding to states that don't take responsible steps to secure their elections. The DOJ will vigorously prosecute election crimes, compliance with national election day rules, prosecuting foreign interference in election, revoking Biden's EO 14019, which allowed government to pollute the election process. It is an honor to sign this one, says President Trump. A massive, massive W. This is, of course, causing the internet to roar in celebration. A major difference from the president who said he's built the largest voting fraud organization in American history. The difference 4 years makes. Watch this.
We have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
So yes, we are getting what we asked for, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump saying he's also ending sanctuary cities altogether. He's putting an end to this practice. Sanctuary cities are, of course, fake. They're not real. And it's been a wonderful day at the White House, man. Donald Trump, never stop, never stopping. This one worked. This one aged very nicely. The next time Democrats try to rig an election, they're going to have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino investigating voter fraud. Oops. Good news, good news. Rejoice. We're getting what we voted for. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.